Kansas City Chiefs and their offseason as they try to make a 6th Super Bowl in 7 years. 5 and 6 years is already a record. And I know there's this assumption out there that they're going to take some sort of step back. And I think that that's based on how they looked in the Super Bowl to some degree. We're all prisoners of the last thing we saw. And I think there are a lot of people who are prisoners to what they saw on Super Bowl Sunday. 40-22 was the final against the Eagles. It wasn't even that close. It was 40-6 with 5 minutes left in that game. And so the question is where the Chiefs go from here. And I think the answer is, I think they're going to wind up going to the place that they thought they were going last year. That got kind of short-circuited by injury. On defense, I think they're good enough to hold serve. Steve Spagnuolo is going to put together another really good defense. They'll have to make up for the loss of Justin Reed. That is a loss. They bring back Nick Bolton. That was big for them, being able to get him back. They still have some contractual things to work out on that side of the ball. Do they extend Trent McDuffie? Do they extend George Karlaftis? Those are questions they're going to have to answer. But I do think you can expect a really good defense from the Chiefs in 2025. Offensively, I think they have a chance to get better. And the reason why is because of a couple of guys that are coming off of injury that they expect to be full go for training camp. And that's Josh Simmons, the left tackle they drafted out of Ohio State, suffered a torn patellar tendon at the beginning of October last year. It's a really bad knee injury, worse than an ACL for a big man. It's a little bit of a surprise that he's going to be back in full go at the start of training camp. But that's where he is. He's checked all the boxes over the course of the spring. And then you have Rashee Rice, who didn't show much limitation at all in the spring. He's, of course, coming back from a knee injury as well. And the Chiefs think that he could be a top 10 receiver in the NFL. And so the vision for the Chiefs last year was to have Hollywood Brown, Xavier Worthy running downfield, and Rashee Rice and Travis Kelce running underneath into those big open spaces that the speed on the outside vacates, and Patrick Mahomes being able to reactivate the downfield part of the Chiefs passing game, which is going to make everybody more dangerous. It didn't really come to pass. Rice got hurt. Hollywood Brown got hurt. That group of 4 players I just mentioned never got a chance to play together. So if Rashee Rice is back and at full strength, then I think you've really got something at the skill positions as far as carrying out that vision that they had last year. Then on the offensive line, and this is where the biggest question is, this is where the biggest problem was in the Super Bowl. On the offensive line, you've got 3 tackles competing for 2 spots. You are going to have to replace Joe Thuney. That is no small loss. Kingsley Suamataia is likely to be the left guard. Who the left tackle is remains an open question. Josh Simmons is probably the most talented left tackle in the draft class of 2025. He was hurt. There were some, I think, questions about his football makeup. But to this point, he is answering those in the Chiefs building. And so they feel like he's in a position to compete for a job, for a starting job, day one of training camp. So you got Simmons in there. You got Jalen Moore coming over from the Niners. You got Jawan Taylor, who's been up and down as their right tackle, was a big sign for them a couple of years ago. Can you find 2 really good starting tackles out of those 3 guys? There is talent among those 3 guys. So can you find 2 really good stars among those 3 guys? And then can Kingsley Suamataia or Caliendo or someone else answer their left guard question in a way that doesn't answer it the way that Joe Thuney answered it, but gives them a viable answer? Can they get so much better at tackle? Because tackle was an issue last year that it negates what they lost at guard. And because there will be a little bit of a step back there. And if you remember in the Super Bowl, they didn't even have Joe Thuney at guard. They had Joe Thuney at tackle. So you could look at this and say, there's a real chance, there's a real path to getting better on the offensive line. So if that vision plays out on offense, in the offensive skill group, if that vision if the position battles play out the way they're hoping they do on the offensive line, I think Patrick Mahomes has a chance to go downfield more. I think the vision they had in 2024 plays out in 2025, and they could wind up being more dangerous, getting healthier in the backfield. Isaiah Pacheco coming back doesn't hurt either. I just have a hard time looking at the Chiefs and saying, yeah, this is going to be where their step back is. And they could get older in spots. Chris Jones, Travis Kelce, obviously they've got some age there. But I think this has got a chance again to be a really, really good team. And it should be a team that has full expectation of being there on championship weekend. And they've been there 7 years in a row. Whether or not they make it 8, I think is sort of the bar for them. And then if you get there, who knows what can happen from there. So I think they're very much in play to be every bit as good, maybe even better than they were a year ago.